So one of the things that they do, and especially here in Florida, we have an enormous demand for property down here. Okay, lots of investors are coming from up north down here and they're saying, hey, I am looking for, like a Wawa, I'll be looking for a corner lot and it needs to have this particular use, this particular traffic patterns, this particular zoning and all of that. Okay, I just mentioned 7 different tools you have to go to get all that information.
Hey guys, and welcome to the Grow IT podcast. One of your hosts here, Trek King. And today we are very excited, not just only to have one, but both of the owners when it comes to Vendita. And today we have Doug and Don, and we'll be diving into their story a little bit today, as well as what it is their company does. And then, as always, some engaging insights into the technology industry. So make sure to stick around for this one. But without further ado, Doug, Don, welcome, guys. Thanks for hopping on today.
Thank you.
Nice to be here.
Guys, I think this is a good place to start. I would say if you guys could kindly just, the both of you, just introduce yourselves and, just tell us a bit about your backgrounds.
Doug Sullinger. We live and reside in Tampa, Florida. Moved down here in 2016. I have been in the IT industry since, I was 24, 25. I started off with Dun & Bradstreet, worked with Gardner, who's a big analyst firm, IBM's, E&Y implementing, called on the automotive industry, found myself working with IBM for not only as a partner of theirs, but then also ended up working for them. And then ultimately they became my customer and one of my businesses that I started. I developed my own SaaS product about 10 years ago. And in 22, I ended up selling that off. It was specifically around data automation and doing the SQL scripting for databases, and kind of retired. That lasted about 6 weeks. I think Don and I met each other sometime. Yeah, kind of the usual. Don and I met each other along the way. And next thing I know, we started talking about commercial real estate. What is it? What's taking place with that? And, we had a conversation and it was really instantaneous that he had a brokerage house. I had technology background. I says, why don't we go build technology for the commercial real estate industry? And then we took off from there. So that's been, a year and a half ago now?
Yep.
Yeah.
So. And I'm Don Powell, here with NAI, or Vendita.ai, and also Basil.ai, that we've also created, as we'll get into. My background is I'm a Florida boy through and through. Played football at Valdosta State, or graduated with a finance degree.
Nice.
Then moved on to entrepreneurial stuff here and there, a little bit of law school, which put me into real estate, residential. Realized that wasn't really my niche, wanted more something business, more challenging, moved over to financial advising for a Fortune 500 company, implementing tax strategies and stuff like that. And networked my way into commercial real estate because I had gotten my broker's license just to have it during my time in residential. I started a commercial real estate brokerage with a gentleman that was a doctor, and we started doing medical sale leasebacks, 1031 exchanges, and just kind of worked my way up from there until I met Doug, and we started our second brokerage and started taking off from there, integrating AI and technology and using all his knowledge that he has bestowed upon me over the past year and a half or so. Didn't know what a tech stack was or an API or anything like that. Next thing you know, here we are.
Awesome. I must say that both of you have been busy up until now, up until getting to this business, right?
Yeah, we have been very.
Goodness. Goodness.
Yeah,
Tell me,
very.
guys. You guys have been in this industry for quite some time now. So, from a trend point of view, what are you guys like picking up in the market lately? What's happening, man? What ways are the winds blowing?
So, let me, I'm a kind of a history buff, kind of back in the, kind of the Gilded Age, right? So if you go back and you look at what Rockefeller did when he created, oil, it was basically, he was making oil for lamps. And then the next thing you know, oil was used for automobiles. We still use that same thing today. Massive change in who we are, right? Then you go into, what did Dale Carnegie do? He built, he took an elephant over a bridge once with, started creating steel. Now we're sitting in a 33-story high rise. Okay. So these types of changes in our industry to what Henry Ford did with, mass producing cars, and even the light bulb. If you look at those type of transitional, economic changes, we are going through the exact same thing right now with AI. And what AI is going to do is it is going to change the people that are doing the work today. There's going to be some people that are going to adopt it, but the people that adopt it will have jobs and move forward. They will just do twice as much. It's completely a different paradigm shift. You got to be, it's not Arnold Schwarzenegger coming in and taking over our life. It's taking basic work. I know. It's taking basic work that is redundant and making it automated for you. It's more automation. And if we look at what we're doing, we're automating every step of the way that you would go through to purchase a commercial piece of property. So if you're an investor, you got to go out and find the property. Well, that's done manually right now. This industry is 20 years behind the eight ball with any kind of tech. When I first got into this, we bought another brokerage company. I said, where do you have all your information at? And they said, well, we have it in our head, or we have it on a piece of paper or in our cell phone in an email. I'm like, have you ever heard of an Excel spreadsheet? We had to start there. Most people in this development real estate industry, that's where they are. There's tools out there, but nobody is really taking and figured out, how does AI make the developer or the commercial broker much more effective and make them one of the top 10% in their field versus somebody that's one of the many. And that's what AI is allowing us to do.
And then seconding that is that, where I see AI currently is, which is kind of just amazing, is the speed and velocity at which we've come. When we got together a year and a half ago, we started off by literally for 3 months straight demoing every single AI product out there in different niches, different tools for 3 to 5 a day. Just me and him in the office, demo. And that really gave us a good idea of where the tools were at, especially in our industry. And for example, the AI recognition, AI bots that you see now, the imitations of Joe Rogan's and all those guys that you see out there, this time last year, like in December or so, it was about $20,000 to make a replica of yourself to put out there. Now that same AI tool, fast forwarding just a year later, is the price of a Canva prescription model. It's a $50 a month. You can have your own AI bot and everything. So it's amazing at the speed at which it's traveling.
Another area, and I go back into the development side. Okay, so I'm used to developing code, and it would take us 3 to 5 years to develop a platform and hand code it. And people all over, in Ukraine, I had developers in Ukraine during the war and stuff like that, and they were coding, banging in code. Now, that same amount of time and effort can be done within a month with AI, and we can make those kind of process changes. And so I look at it as and I'll use like a Salesforce, for example. If they want to make a change, they got to go all the way down to the root code and then go through all the QA testing all the way back. AI doesn't have to do that. They change the entire process right there in front of you. Here's your new process. And it's done instantaneously. And we're doing it every day right now. We have a team of people that's all they do. And we're constantly improving. So we also we started this 6 Sigma process. So we looked at all the processes in the industry. What does it take to do commercial real estate? What does it take to build a CRM? What does it take to track that? So we had a gentleman that came in and he worked with us and he said, here's all your process maps. And now we're building AI tools specifically around those areas that need it, right? So yeah, they call them burst, the big burst in a Six Sigma map, right? You'll see that there. So we apply AI to the areas where the bulk of the data resides, and we're automating as much of that as possible.
That's awesome. Tell me, Don, obviously there's a lot of competition out there now, specifically towards what your company does from a value standpoint, right? What would you say are those, lack of a better word, let's say differentiating factors, right? Those value points, what you guys bring to the table, you know, as you know, as a service offering or as a solution, you know, what your clients enjoy from you guys. I think in the same breath, you know, that we can, you know, a bit better understand exactly what it is that your company does.
Yeah, so it's super exciting, and you know, just like the letter, nobody has a, you know, nobody's baby's ugly. So I'm very proud of what we've built, and it's I'm gonna tell you, and I'm gonna tell you that it's the definitely without a doubt the best tool, AI tool out there for real estate and commercial real estate, especially for developers. And that's the thing that we'll get into, is that the use cases just keep piling on. And that's the beautiful thing about it, is that even with AI, not only is our foundation already there, built ahead, you know, ahead of the game, it's the growth that we will grow with technology as it grows and the new use cases pop up. But it's the first of its kind. The value is tremendous. And we've built this, you know, Doug with his tech background, and utilizing just from my knowledge from being in residential and commercial real estate, and then we've been tapping into the development side, have, you know, really, it is a tool that, you know, agents and developers and brokers that will actually use, and AI is making things cheaper and faster. So, you know, commercial real estate has been dominated by a lot of the big groups, and AI is going to force their hand to change, kind of like Tesla did with all the automakers, and providing that value. So that value that we provide, that, you know, the old automakers would probably charge us, where Tesla just gives it away freely. That's what we're doing with our AI tool in the real estate market, where we are flooding the market with value and speed. And like I said, I use it myself, and you know, it's just refreshing to be able to use your own tool when you need it, and it's there, and it's it feels good.
Feels good. No, I think so. Tell me, Doug, is the cat out of the bag in the sense of that you guys are already at a place that you can talk about what this, you know, what this tool and, you know, what it physically can do from a high level point of view, or is it, or is this podcast 6 weeks too early?
No, we can talk to exactly what we're doing. So I mentioned that we bought another brokerage house on top of it, and that came with us about 7 or 8 brokers. And I kept looking at what they kept doing every day. So one of the things that they do, and especially here in Florida, we have an enormous demand for property down here. Okay, lots of investors are coming from up north down here, and they're saying, hey, I am looking for, like a Wawa, I'll be looking for a corner lot, and it needs to have this particular use, this particular traffic patterns, this particular zoning, and all of that. Okay. Yeah. I just mentioned 7 different tools you have to go to get all that information. 7. Okay. You got to go to the property website to find out permitting. You got to figure out the size of the property. Okay, that may be another tool. All right, now you got to go to find heat maps. Who's traveling? How much traffic do you have up and down that street? Well, now you got to go somewhere else to find out how many homes are in the neighborhood. Then you may have to go somewhere else to find out how many other retailers are in the neighborhood. Okay, you have to go all these different places. All right.
Is there time for selling?
Yeah. They're spending 70% of their time just research. Yeah, they're going to you know, they're going to some of the open market products where other brokers are putting their information in there. They don't know if it's accurate or not, and they're just trying to see, well, does this fit this? And a lot of times there's no accuracy.
Yeah.
What we did is we got all the public record information on every piece of property in the entire United States. Then we, yeah, we did. My other part of my background is data cleansing, so I'm very familiar with what it takes. So then we cross-reference that with point of interest information, and now we can tell you if we look for a particular, say we look for a hospital in a particular area, all right? We can literally find that that's a hospital, but guess what? Somebody else, another county may call it, medical, something like that. So we now have that all centralized. So we can literally tell you how many hospitals are in a 3-county area. But more importantly, say you're looking to buy a hospital, just use that as an example. Well, whether maybe it's not for sale today, we can find out who owns it, how big it is, who literally download that information directly to you. Okay. Now, let's say, and I'll go back to my Wawa example. Let's say Wawa wants to put 200 different locations here in the state of Florida. Well, they have to have this particular kind of a footprint, right? Certain size, certain traffic patterns, and all that stuff. We'll go out and find every piece of property that fits that requirement, whether they're on the market or off the market. Okay. So just because it's for sale, we don't care. If it's not for sale, we'll literally make the phone calls and try to see if 50% of the properties that get sold in Florida are off market. You don't even know about it.
Oh, guys, yeah, no, that I get it. The penny has dropped. I get it.
And how that process would look, and agents, they know all the time, right? You get a phone call, your phone rings, you're super excited because the buyer's telling you, hey, we're looking for land, we're looking for about 5 to 10 acres, maybe up to 50. We're open to 50 acres, and we're looking to buy right now. We got cash ready to go. We want to develop, a residential neighborhood, anywhere from 50 to 300 units. So you're super excited. What's the first thing the agent do? You hop on LoopNet, Prexy, CoStar, and search. Hey, let me filter out what's available. Yeah. Nothing's available for sale, So then what do? Now you're twiddling your fingers. You don't call back that buyer for a week, 2 weeks, because you don't have anything. Then, a month, 2 months later, you're talking to another agent and they're like, hey, I got this, off-market deal, 5 to 10 acres. You're like, oh, then you call the guy back and they don't answer, right. Or, the deal, they already bought something,
opportunity.
And that's where our tool really excels at, is that I can take those search criterias and we are able to search 130 data points for every single parcel of land. That's what the AI does, and that's what separates us, is that we are able to ask complex, multi-tiered questions to triangulate and narrow down a list of properties that fit that criteria. Off market, on market, doesn't matter. We're looking at the parcel of land. So for example, I'm looking for 10 to 30 acres zoned industrial in XYZ county in an opportunity zone. Enter, and it'll pull up a list of exactly that. Yes, it is so powerful, because right now the only thing people can do is, hey, all the big guys, they'll say, oh yeah, we can show you off market all this. Oh, you look up one parcel, you drive by, you look up that exact parcel, and it gives you all the information. Cool, great. That does nothing for me on a search smart tool analysis,
Yeah.
And that's the basic feature of this. We have extra features and tools that will blow your mind even more. That's starting. That's where we started off at.
That is
so
awesome.
We were just working with our brokers, and one of our brokers said to us, he goes, hey, can you, and our developer was on there, he says, hey, could you tell us if, say, this particular person owns a piece of property, can you ask the tool, will it tell us how many properties they own across the entire state or whatever, right? And we're thinking, Don and I are thinking, they won't do that. And our developer says, oh no, it'll do that. They looked up Disney, Walt Disney, they looked at all the properties that Disney had right there, laid them all out. We also found other uses. What about counties? What about cities? So these were other uses, because we have the data. That's the secret, is that having the data cleaned up, ready to go, and we can, and we've cleansed it so that if you look at a restaurant, it says it's a restaurant, it's everywhere. All right. If you ask for it to look for particular zoning, it'll look for that particular type of zoning, because we've cleaned that up. It also say, hey, I'm interested in anything close to a particular type of grocery store.
Yeah.
There you go. It'll show you everything in that area. And every time we ask the model questions, it keeps giving us more and more. We had another client of ours that works with us, and they get funding from EB5 money. It's bringing in money overseas, and there's certain things that are zoned with EB5. I'm like, okay, we have the data. All we did was go get the map, put it in there. Now they use it for all their EB5 projects.
Geez, guys, I can, listening to the both of you, I can fully understand why. Well, first and foremost, you guys are currently doing so well. But I mean, I'm just thinking now for this year going forward, I think you guys must have a crazy big year planned for you, right?
Yeah, we do.
2025 is going to be a interesting one of breaking through barriers, ceilings, and then what I wanted to ask you guys, just like I know we're running out of time a bit, but just from your sake, you guys have been obviously from business point of view on both different ends, right? And obviously talent came together and this was born. If you guys don't mind, just maybe one each, to give some advice for, sometimes people are working in a company, a lot of our listeners might be working in a company, they're in a rut, they want to jump ship, they want to go do something with their lives, right? Or be an entrepreneurial side of things, or it might be a young entrepreneur or an old entrepreneur that's just not, maybe struggling a bit or so on. Is there maybe one thing that you guys have learned along the way that you are willing to share that you can say, hey, Jake, I did that, man, and that assisted, or I learned that.
Let me take the first one, but then also
Please.
Don's got to answer it from his perspective as well.
Sure.
This isn't my first rodeo, right? So I've built software tools before, and I made a mistake by building a software tool for a software developer or a technology type buyer. That's not your audience, okay? You go to people that do not understand what technology can do for them. This industry, these people do not like. There's some people that like a cell phone still scary for them, right? That's what you want to go do. You want to find a problem that's a big enough problem with a user base that doesn't easily know how to resolve it themselves. Okay.
Right.
If I was to go, if I went and talked to, go and selling a CRM or selling add-ons to Salesforce, what are they going to do? They're going to look at, well, do we have a partner now, or can we build it ourselves? Right. You don't want to sell to those kind of buyers. You want to sell to buyers that don't know how to fix it themselves. And that's what you got to go do. And that's where you have success.
That's very interesting. Very good take. Don?
And I would say that, if somebody's out there in my position, they have an idea or they're very knowledgeable in a certain section, is that you got to network. You're not going to be able to do it yourself. And you need to find a Doug, and Doug has, as you mentioned, he's been there, he wrote the book. Maybe literally wrote the book. Probably he might have got a book I don't know about. But
Don, I thought you were the football player, man.
Yeah, but he's like I joke with him is that there's no Upwork or any place that he could have found a better person number two for me, and that's what I found out is that I've been an entrepreneur training for this moment to be an entrepreneur is what I found out. Being an entrepreneur, being a number two, because I've been on my own. I'm a self-starter. I'm a go-getter. And that was the first thing when me and Doug kind of got together. You feel people out. They're going to do what they say they're going to do in action. And we were in our office before I could even call Doug. Yeah, he had already found the hub. He already moving in, and made it happen. I was like, he gets it. And he found out quickly too that I get it too. And, we joke about it between us, but our vision, we didn't have to talk about it and say about it, but it's like we were connecting in the ether, and we just knew which way we were headed. We just talked about it, and we ended up here, and it's been a beautiful thing.
The other thing I would say to add to that, if you've got a partner that you can work well with on it and share the vision, that you're going to, the 1 + 1 = 3 kind of model, that's what you get with that.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha.
I've done, like I said, I've done this before, and have an apartment that's close. And we talk all the time. We're always on the phone, If we're not talking about football, we're talking about, this technology and
Yeah.
constantly looking for new ways to use it, and we're also already, and I haven't even got to this is probably add to the next podcast. We're also building, the other problem we saw when we did our Six Sigma stuff, we saw that all those tools that brokers wanted had to go to,
Right.
all right, they needed a way to manage their customers, they needed a way to market. So we found other add-on tools that give us a CRM component as well. It's all AI driven, and then a marketing component that does that. So we eat our own dog food with that, but we're selling this as what we call, it's a tagline called broker in a box. So we go to a brokerage office, we say, here's the only tool you need to have to run your business.
Yeah.
And that's what we did. And that's what everybody was asking us for. So we built site selection as our key hook, but the rest of it are add-on components that you can get other places, but they're already pre-built. Here you go. And that's how we build it.
I need to thank you guys for coming on. If I quickly need to summarize from takeaways I took away from this conversation, just from a value standpoint, is that even though there is so many things you mentioned, Doug, earlier on, I mean, you mentioned 7 things in one sentence when currently, the market needs to go back and go find all those platforms to get those results, where you just not from a technical point of view solve that problem, but I'm just thinking from a just from a productivity point of view, from a profit point of view, and operational cost point of view, from a client acquisition cost point of view. I mean, there's so many things that you guys are currently making things easier for that industry or for somebody that's starting out an agency, to be successful in it. I truly commend you guys. So thank you for coming on. Thank you for willing to share. Don, Doug, you guys are awesome. I wish you guys all the best going forward. And definitely, I want you guys back. Hopefully, again, when there's something more towards, growing. And, but thank you so much for coming on. You guys have been great. Lastly, just from our side, where can they get hold of you guys?
Vendita.ai. That's our website.
As easy as that, guys. Vendita.ai.
That's it.
Appreciate it. Don, Doug, appreciate you all. Thanks for hopping on. This was fun.
Thank you very much.
Take care.